on here? It is Josh with 3 Sport Podcast. We are doing the first episode today. I am pretty excited for this. However, this is just going to be a solo episode for today as my other co-hosts weren't able to make it today. So I'm going to run the show solo for the first debut session, but that's totally okay. So basically, this is going to be just a bit shorter of an episode because I'm by myself, and because there's not really like a whole lot that I really know that I want to like talk about on this episode. But we're gonna start with, because we're just gonna do football for this episode, and specifically I'm gonna do fantasy football just for the starter. So but before I get into it, I'm gonna explain to everybody what this podcast will be. So generally I want to do podcast with audio and video. However, the the video option for today, I was going to do that, but I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna do that even. So I'm gonna wait a little bit on that one because that requires my tripod and everything, and I'm not 100% sure how I plan to do all that. So we're gonna hold off on the tripod and camera situation. I'm also not sure how the microphone audio is going to be 100%. I think it'll be okay, but I don't know. As of right now, it's like I'm talking into a microphone with headphones on. I don't do this much, but I think I can hear myself, or I can just hear myself because I can hear myself. I have really no idea. But anyways, so 3 Sport Podcast. The way how I got the name essentially was, I feel like we're going to be covering mainly 3 sports: baseball, basketball, and football, and some college football as well. But it's also like a play on words, like, like 3 sport athlete. Well, this is 3 Sport Podcast, and it's ironic because there's 3 of us that have technically, I guess you could say, founded this podcast. So that's pretty cool. There will be a website, like fully updated website with us on it. I've got my picture on there, but I'm waiting for the other 2 guys to get here so we can get pictures for all of us and get it posted on there. But yeah, we're in this. It's just the group is just a couple of us local guys from small town Wisconsin. So let's just get on into this and really hope you guys enjoy what we got going here. So for the first episode for today, like I said, we're going to talk about fantasy football to start off, and a little bit of just in general football. The one thing I wanted to start with, pretty huge news, I feel like, in my opinion, is one of the players that actually just got scooped in my league, and that's Tevin Coleman. So I'm sure a lot of you know who Tevin Coleman is. He's a running back for the 49ers. Tevin Coleman broke out onto the scene when he was Devontae Freeman's backup in Atlanta, and he was really good. And he was really good in San Francisco last year, and he played 2 games this year. The first one against Arizona, and then the second one against the Jets. The game against the Jets, he did not look so hot, but I'm just going to put it out there that he was already hurt, and that's why, but I don't 100% know. But Tevin Coleman is definitely, if you are in need of a running back and you are in a standard scoring league, I highly advise you scooping Tevin Coleman if necessary. So yeah, basically, I don't know. I guess what we'll do is I'll just start this off and I'll just talk about the players that I think should be big targets for this week, for week 8 especially. I know people are a little bit iffy on San Francisco running backs. However, the way I see it is San Francisco running backs are a snag because you got McKinnon, who came back last week, or who was playing last week and did not do a whole lot. And then you have Wilson, who's hurt, so he's gone. He's out. Mostert's out. He's hurt. And then you have JaMycal Hasty, and I'm pretty sure JaMycal Hasty is hurt. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. I'll have to take a look. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about... Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my chair here. we're going to talk about people who should be rostered in fantasy football leagues for this week in particular. So, okay, so Jermichael Hasty is playing. So, okay, he's another good one to scoop. But, so here, we'll go back to 49ers running backs. If you're going to take a 49ers running back, I highly advise you take Tevin Coleman. Now, I'm not a fantasy football expert, but when I watched Jermichael Hasty play, he didn't look bad by any means. He looks like he can get the ball on the ground and everything, but Tevin Coleman's elite, let's be honest. I think he could be a nice 10 plus point scorer for this week against Seattle especially. So I would definitely look at him for an option. But I think the number one option for running back this week and player in general is Jamal Williams. Now, I don't even say I'm biased because I live in Wisconsin, because I'll tell you right now, I'm a Dolphins fan primarily, Packer fan secondary. But the reason I'm saying this, they're going up against the Vikings defense, bro. The Vikings defense. The Vikings defense, I'm going to say it right now, it's horrible. It's just like the Cowboys defense. Not there. And with Aaron Jones out, the Packers do a lot of running, and they do a lot of passing to the running backs. Rodgers likes to get his immediate necessary passes to just done, and that's the running back check down, little screen pass, a little wheel, whatever they run with the running back, get him open, throw him the ball. Rodgers does that a lot, and he's good at it, and Jamal Williams is a good pass catching back. I think he's probably the number one priority option if he's available in your league. He's rostered in 75.3% of ESPN leagues. He has a ad rate of 51, so I think that he's gonna be a hot pickup. So if you can get Jamal Williams, I would very much so go and grab Jamal Williams. Now, when it comes to people like Carlos Hyde, Seattle running backs, it's a tricky situation. So I have Chris Carson on my team, and if you have Chris Carson on your team as well, you will know that Chris Carson is a injury magnet. This guy gets hurt every single game, I'm convinced. Somehow, some way, he finds a way to get hurt. And ironically enough, Carlos Hyde is also hurt. Carlos Hyde is actually listed as doubtful. So, Carlos Hyde is most likely not an option to pick up, in my opinion. Chris Carson is getting dropped in not a lot, but in some leagues, it looks like he's got a drop rate of 0.6. But I wouldn't really worry about that. I feel like people might just be dropping him because they're in 3 running back leagues and they need a running back for this week. But so Chris Carson's questionable. Obviously, we know Rashad Penny is out. And then Hyde is doubtful. Most likely he's not going to play. So that leaves the backfield set up between DJ Dallas and Travis Homer. I'm going to be real with you. DJ Dallas is actually the only healthy running back for the Seahawks this weekend. So it's really kind of difficult for me to say what to do here. But for those of you who are jumping on Carlos Hyde, I would get off of that train and I would look elsewhere, because Carlos Hyde is most likely not going to play by my standard opinion looking here. And I just think that you're more safe if you're going to go with a Seattle running back to risk it with Chris Carson. And if you don't have Chris Carson, don't even pick up DJ Dallas or Travis Homer. It's not worth your time. Anyway, so back to the list. Another big pickup for this week is Boston Scott. Now, I get it. You're probably saying, Boston Scott didn't do a whole lot last week. You know, he got lucky. He got that touchdown at the end of the game. You're right. But you're also wrong. Because if you look at who he's playing Dallas. You know who coaches Dallas? Mike McCarthy. Yes. Packer fan secondary. So you know how I feel about Mike McCarthy. Dude's awful. He's awful. He's a terrible coach. And his defense is just right up there. It's so weird because they have such good talent on that defense. They have guys like Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith. And they're still struggling to make it meet. And it makes no sense. They should be run deniers. And they're like giving up all these yards and stuff. And it's like, what? So, Boston Scott, I would definitely look at. He runs hard. For a shorter guy, The dude's fast. He runs tough. He's a good running back. I think he is definitely somebody I would keep my eye on. As for other running backs, Giovanni Bernard is another very, very good option. So he's actually only rostered in 69.8% of leagues. That sounds like a lot, but he's rostered in less leagues than Jamal Williams. I'm guessing that's because... Actually, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm guessing it's because Jamal did so good last week, but Bernard did good too. So, and Bernard's going up against Tennessee's defense. Last week, James Conner and Benny Snell both shred the Tennessee defense. So, and I say shred lightly. I just mean that they beat them and they scored on them. So, Giovanni Bernard, if you're looking for a guy to get a touchdown, I would definitely look for Giovanni Bernard. Whether it be receiving or rushing, Joe Burrow was going to find him somehow. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just go by position. I feel like I've been really, really tough on the running back right now, so we're going to stick with running backs. Bear with me, my mouse is like being absolutely ridiculous right now. All right, so next up on my list here we have LaMichael P Rein. This is literally one of the most toughest things to even try and like grasp my head around. A New York Jets running back is projected more than Frank Gore. Like the backup. I get it, Frank Gore has a hand injury and he could potentially not play, but I would be real. Who wouldn't instantly scoop this guy? Like, okay, here's what I mean. If you have a league where you have, like, let's say your running backs are guys like DeAndre Swift, Giovanni Bernard maybe. Okay, no, there's no way that's your running backs. So, like, let's say you have, like, your one-star running back, like Alvin Kamara or something, and then you have, like, two sleeper running backs, like maybe you have Chris Carson, who's, like, injured every other week, and then you have somebody like... It's actually kind of tough. I don't even know who to put here. Leonard Fournette. Let's say you have Leonard Fournette. So you have Leonard Fournette. You have dude, I forgot who I said. Chris Carson, and then you have Alvin Kamara. Somebody like LaMichael P Rein might be kind of a snag here because when it comes to the Jets' offense, it's literally a dumpster fire. But Adam Gase knows how to run the ball. He does not know how to pass the ball. However, it's not always up to Adam Gase. It's up to the running back to make the plays. I've not seen LaMichael P Rein play. However, he did put up 11 in his last game. So the kid's got talent, but I'm calling him a kid. He's probably older than me. He's got talent, but he's not like a instant absolute start. He's like, if you're desperate for a running back, pick him up. When it comes to the other running backs, I mean, all the obvious ones are kind of out of the way here. For some reason, Marshawn Lynch is still getting rostered in leagues. Yeah, I think that's about it for the like mainly obvious ones. If like say somebody like I don't know, possibly Wayne Gallman or somebody like Malcolm Brown are still out there in your leagues and you're really deep and you really need a running back, snag them up. They have some decent matchups this week. Because Tampa Bay's defense is really good against the pass. Aaron Rodgers got absolutely annihilated against them. So I think that would be a good option for you to go with like a running back in that situation. So I'm going to have to switch over to a different league real quick because in the league that I play, that I main, we have team quarterback. So for me to do quarterback rankings, it's a little bit difficult. So I'm going to quickly just switch over here. Sorry, I'm using my laptop right now. My laptop is the slowest dinosaur that I've ever had to use in my life. Let's go quarterbacks. I'm sure all you guys want to hear your wide receivers. I don't. I'll be honest, I don't want to hear wide receivers. And see, the thing that's going to be kind of difficult for me is I think all my leagues are PPR except for the one that my main one. So Shoot. Go back. I apologize. This is very slow. I'm honestly almost better off just looking this up on my phone. Sorry for the time wasted, everybody. Alright, so when you're looking at quarterbacks, for example, it looks like the biggest bank on. So okay, if you take a look here, now I'm gonna throw in a little bit of bias. I'm a Dolphins fan, you know that. Tua Tagovailoa, he's the absolute. I'd say he's a grab. I know the Rams defense is good. I know they have Aaron Donald. I know I'm crazy for thinking that Tua is going to do anything against the Rams. But hear me out. Hear me out. So, Myles Gaskin, Mike Gesicki, Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, all healthy. All pass catchers. Granted, Myles Gaskin is a running back. However, the dude can catch passes and run too. So he's got targets. It's just, is he going to make use of them? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you now, if you're going to look up for a quarterback that plays tomorrow, you're picking up Tua over Ben DiNucci. Just telling you that much. All right, next up, the main quarterback that I want to talk about, who's only rostered in 70.7% of leagues, which kind of blows my mind. Joe Burrow. Now, I know this dude was supposed to be so much better. Everyone was super hyped about him. But after last week, I think Joe Burrow might be the real deal. I just picked him up in my league, in my non-PPR league. This kid can throw. He can run. He's not a great scrambler, but he is a scrambler if he needs to be. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns in the season. Excuse me. So he can move. He can definitely get out of the pocket and make it work. I would also take a look. Okay, this is another one that kind of blows my mind. Derek Carr. Derek Carr is not by any means a terrible quarterback. He's very consistent. If you have someone on a bye this week and you need a quarterback, go with Derek Carr. Dude's 46.8% rostered to ESPN leagues. I know he puts up an average of 19, but I'm guessing his average is so skewed because of his bad game he had against New England, which wasn't even, if you look at the stats, it wasn't a horrible game, but his 2 fumbles really kind of got it to where it was a bad game. But I mean, if you look at his statistics, dude's not doing too bad on the season. Worst game was against Carolina, and it wasn't even, again, not a bad game. He just didn't throw a lot of yards, but he's definitely making it work here. Now I'm going to quickly switch over to wide receivers because there's not a whole lot about quarterbacks that I got here. Big thing for wide receivers. Now, I'm a stickler for ratings, but I'm also a stickler for good performances. And when it comes to a good performance, one person I think of instantly is Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, this rookie, is an absolute dominant monster when it comes to being a wide receiver for the 49ers. Now, again, 49ers, you're saying, ooh, so he's a good wide receiver for a team with a bad quarterback? Yes, you would be correct. Deebo Samuel is not playing this week. Tevin Coleman is back. So that is another person that can vulture passes. And George Kittle is back as well. And it's just I think Brandon Ayuk really can make it work. The dude had 115 receiving yards last week. He's got some rushing touchdowns on the season. So if you need a wide receiver that can get you some points, that's who I'd go with. Another option that I would take a look at would be Nelson Aguilar. From having no hands in Philadelphia, this dude came to Las Vegas and got hands. No offense, Nelson Aguilar, but dude has 4 touchdowns on the season. This last game, I'm pretty sure he only has 107 yards because I'm pretty sure he had a 70-yard touchdown or something, or that might have been, or a catch or something like that. I don't know. That could have been a different game or a different player or something. But yeah, he was doing pretty good. He got some yards and he made himself open. And then the last but least wide receiver that I want to talk, last but not least wide receiver that I want to talk about is Scotty Miller. So I've always been pretty big on Scotty Miller. I thought he was a pretty fascinating slot wide receiver. Jameis Winston is not a good quarterback, so it was kind of hard to judge his production with Winston. But with Brady, Brady's been giving him the ball. He's feeding him. He's had 83 receiving yards twice, 73 once, and he's had 109 and a touchdown he had in the last game against the Raiders. Again, I don't think the Raiders defense is that good, but with Tom Brady as your quarterback and Chris Godwin out, Antonio Brown's not there yet. So I think that he's got definitely some opportunities to be that dude. Now we're going to go to straight just general NFL news. And this is going to be just stuff that I'm finding on the NFL website, because a lot of this I already knew, but I just want to talk about a little bit of it. So, okay, the first thing I'm seeing here is, I guess, free agent kicker Aldrick Rosas is suspended for 4 games for personal conduct violation. I'm not entirely sure what that entails, but I'm not going to really talk much more about that because he's a free agent kicker and no one really cares. All right, next thing, pretty big news. Julian Edelman has been placed on IR. Now, I know a lot of you might be Patriots fans and are probably really, scared. Turns out he had a knee injury. He's stated to be back this season, but with Cam Newton as your quarterback and your backups being Jarrett Stidham and I think Brian Hoyer is the other one, I'm pretty sure still, not going to do you a whole lot. Those quarterbacks are very, very inconsistent, and it's not looking too hot. I honestly don't really know what else I'm going to talk about here. I think I've kind of wrapped up what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me on the first episode of 3 Sport Podcast. I appreciate everyone who watched this. This is going to be available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. I will be editing the audio tonight, obviously, and uploading it, and I'll have it on the website as well. The website will be up for everybody to view tonight as well. Everything will be able to be accessed. So thank you guys again. I really appreciate everybody watching this or listening to this, and have a good one. Happy Halloween.